Lancement mondial, événement organisé à travers la planète, comme ici sur les Champs-Élysées à Paris, des millions de fans impatients. L'événement jeu vidéo de cette première moitié d'année était sans aucun doute la sortie de Diablo 3 le 15 mai dernier. Au cours de cette journée pas comme les autres, Gamekult a rencontré Alex Maybury, producteur, et Dave Adams, level designer, pour comprendre un peu mieux le phénomène Diablo.
You know, it takes place in a world called Sanctuary, where humans are basically caught between an endless war between demonic forces and, you know, angelic forces, and humans are kind of the pawns in the middle of all of this. But you, as the character, you're special, and you know you have the ability to fight off this evil and to sort of change the face of this world.
It's an action RPG game. Lots of fun hack and slash action, and it's very easy for players to get into. You play one of 5 different classes, all with different unique abilities. You go around and explore the world, pick up all kinds of fun loot, deck out your character in awesome armor and different kinds of weapons and things like that, and you know, go on different quests.
Spider Queen.
The Diablo franchise is based on randomness and replayability. So there's an extraordinary amount of game content that we've created. And basically what it means is that the game never plays the same way, quite the same way twice. And you can play it many, many times and never see all the content. So it's not the type of game that you play one time and you put down. You know, we fully anticipate players to play this game for many, many years. It's our approach to make a very simple, elegant game, very easy. It's very approachable. There's not a huge learning curve, but it's married with a lot of depth and complexity and challenge. So even though it's easy to pick up, it's difficult to master. But you don't necessarily have to master it to beat it. And in that way, we can appeal to the most simple casual player and also the most hardcore player.
I think we just wanted to get it right. That's kind of what we're about at Blizzard. We just want to make the right product, and we want to make sure that, you know, as gamers, we want to make something that's great for other gamers, got great gameplay, and that you know, is really accessible to all our players. And sometimes it takes a lot of time, and in this case it did. But you know, we're hoping that what we're bringing out is you know, was worth the wait.
I really like the Wizard. I like what we've done with the Wizard. Also, my last main character in WoW was a mage, so when I joined the Diablo 3 team, I just sort of gravitated towards the Wizard. And I still find that there are things that we do with our Wizard that it's that same experience. It's, you know, being the glass cannon who has a million toys in the box to pull out and chain together. It's such a visceral experience, so I think I'm going to end up going with Wizard.
For Diablo 1 and 2, I was the big barbarian guy, but I think like or warrior at the time, but well, I really like the Witch Doctor now is like one of my favorite. I love the pet class. Some of the later skills, you know, you get a pretty interesting guy that follows you around, you know, the bigger pet, and I think it's a lot of fun. I love the moves. I kind of like the, you know, the how that character kind of moves around the screen. They're pretty unique, you know. He's just kind of this like shaky old dude that's sort of, you know, it's pretty interesting to play. I think one of my favorite things that you get is this gargantuan pet that you get. He's like this big kind of lumbering guy, and just like, I mean, he's probably 4 times your size or something like that, and just goes and you know, just beats up on everything. Plus you have the dogs. You can get you can have 4 zombie dogs out at once, and plus the runes that you put on those guys. I mean, you're just like stacking this stuff, and I think you do feel like it does remind me of the Necromancer, like for that type of thing, you know.
I would say the Witch Doctor is similar to the Necromancer, but much more amped up, and it's very different than the rest of the character classes. And some of the spells and runes that as Dave mentioned, are just really crazy. I mean, there's like the zombie charger where you summon this zombie and he comes out of the ground and charges forward and then sort of melts into this cloud of, you know, green poison. And there's one where the zombies will stack on top of each other and then crash down on enemies. You know, there's this very novel character, very different than the other classes. So I think you'll find what you're looking for there.
Mais Diablo 3, ce n'est pas que des centaines de monstres explosés et des milliers d'objets amassés, c'est aussi des polémiques concernant certains choix stratégiques de Blizzard sur ce nouvel opus. Comme l'introduction de la maison des enchères pour vendre et acheter des objets contre de l'argent réel, ou encore l'obligation d'être connecté en permanence pour jouer, même en solo. Des sujets sur lesquels Blizzard a visiblement des réponses toutes prêtes.
You can go log into your computer or your friend's computer and have access to all of your characters, where previously you didn't have that ability. It's a different world that we live in today. The internet is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. We want players to be able to communicate with each other. You can be playing Diablo 3 and your friend can be playing World of Warcraft or StarCraft 2, and you can talk to each other. You can invite each other to your games. You can open your game up to the public and have people just drop in and join your game at any time. You can set it up to play with your friends. And if your hard drive crashes on your laptop, you're not going to lose your character.
There is an option there for not just to pay auction house, but we have the gold auction house, so you can use your in-game money. So not everybody has to, go through by paying. You can just use it in the game. And
this feature was prevalent in Diablo 2 as well. It was just controlled by a third-party market. And that market was not necessarily conducive to the integrity of the game. Players were often taken advantage of and scammed. There were a lot of problems with that sort of black market environment. We've also evolved as a company over the years. We've learned a lot of lessons through World of Warcraft that also maintains an auction house and deals with some of these same issues. So we recognize the fact that whether we created an auction house or not, players were still going to want to trade items with each other. So instead, we just decided to embrace it and create a safe, secure environment where this can happen and not interfere with the integrity of the game.
12 ans d'attente, 6 ans de développement, plus de 6 millions de joueurs sur les serveurs en une semaine, le plus dur semble passer. Pourtant, beaucoup spéculent déjà sur les futurs add-ons ou sur l'arrivée du jeu sur console. Des envies que n'oublie pas l'équipe de développement, pour qui l'heure du repos n'a semble-t-il pas encore sonné.
So we're not making any kind of announcement of any expansions or anything. Our focus right now, obviously, is launching the game. But with that said, this is really just the beginning of the franchise for us. We intend to build on it and support it for a very long time. And if you look at all of our other products, it's pretty safe to assume we would apply the same philosophies to Diablo 3. The reality is we want to get it right, and at the same time we needed to finish PvE, and we know that the focus initially is going to be on PvE. So it made more sense to just set it aside for a moment, get the actual game out, and then we'll follow up with PvP. I think what's important for players to understand is we're not announcing a console version. We haven't committed yet to actually releasing Diablo 3 on the console, but we do think it's a viable idea. We have ongoing staffing efforts to build a console team, but the goal of that team right now is it's really research and development. We need to prove to ourselves internally that we can actually make a console Diablo 3 experience. What we won't do is just port the game over and give an experience that just feels like a PC game that was put on a console. If it is something that we ended up doing, it will feel like it was made for those platforms. Both Dave and I worked on StarCraft Ghost. If you remember, this was Xbox, PS2, and GameCube, and while we felt ready to bring a Blizzard game to the console world, I don't know if those consoles at the time could really deliver what we wanted to do. But the world of consoles has changed a lot since those years, and Diablo 3 is very suitable, we think, for consoles, which is why we are once again dipping our toe in that water.